Tyson. He was in cruise control. He was doing that showboating. He said himself he was enjoying himself. But you know, when you're in with a master like Usyk, you can't afford silly, complacent moments like that. You'll get found out. You get done.
Test. Danny Gathone for Pro Boxing Fans in Leeds. Just had the final press conference with Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall too. Darren Barker, was there a stage you thought we might not get here?
Yeah, be honest. But we are here. We've got the fight. I did think it would be a little subdued today. I didn't think it would be loud, screaming and shouting. All the talking's done now. They've got one job to do tomorrow, is make the weight. And then they can fully focus on the fight. And I believe, I've just said there, I think it's round 13. I think we're going to be in for a real treat. They know each other now. They know their strengths, their weaknesses. And I think that helps deliver a better fight.
You talk about how you were expecting a more subdued atmosphere up there. We've got weigh-in day tomorrow. Personally, I've heard a few rumblings of some tight weight cuts. Do you think that could have anything to do about why both of them were a bit more low-key today? Yeah. I would guess they've got to lose anything in the region of 6, 7, 8 pounds perhaps. But I think tomorrow might be a bit more fiery. The energy in the room is a bit more vibrant on weigh-in day. It's almost that sigh of relief when you've made the weight, and that gets you a bit buzzy. It's annoying, it's horrible having to drop weight, so tempers get high and emotions run wild. So I think tomorrow might be a bit more fiery, but I've got no doubt that the fight delivers on Saturday. I think we're in for a real treat. I think condemning fighters to retirement is one of the more sort of toxic things about boxing, but it is difficult. Would you agree to see where the loser goes on Saturday night?
It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. I think probably more so for Josh, who's achieved so much. A defeat here, does he want to rebuild? I don't know. It all depends on manner of defeat as well. You know, could we see a trilogy? You don't know. But it will be a tough pill to swallow, a hard pill to swallow for the loser, you know, because of the bad blood. So I feel nerves will be at an all-time high for both in the changing rooms just before they do their ring walk.
I got to move on to what happened last weekend. I know you were out in Saudi, didn't get a chance to catch up with you. Have a good week out there?
Yeah, fantastic. It was an unforgettable week. I'll never forget it. Yeah, it was brilliant. I know where I was 25 years ago when Lewis and Holyfield fought. I was in the front room with my dad and my granddad and the rest of the family, and I sort of leant over and I touched the ring because our commentary desk was that close, and I was like, this is mental. This is mad that I'm here witnessing this. Brilliant fight, right man won. I didn't score it round by round, but I felt he won it by a round or two. Definitely won the fight, but I'd see it again.
One of the major talking points that came from the fight is the footage that was doing the round of Andy Lee, Sugar Hill and Big John in Tyson's corner. All seemed a bit chaotic, a lot of talking over one another. As a former fighter yourself, I know maybe different strokes for different folks, but is that something you'd appreciate in the situation Tyson was in, or is it a bit much?
I think Tyson's so strong-willed, he probably would have said something if it was too overbearing. I don't really know, like, everyone's different. I had one clear voice in my corner, Tony Sims. Me and him were in sync, and that's all I needed. Tyson perhaps needs other voices, but it'd be interesting to see if anything changes for the rematch if it happens. You need stability, you need clear, calm, precise instructions. He's got some very useful, knowledgeable people in there. Andy Lee, I can't speak highly enough of that man. He knows the game inside out. Sugar Hill, and John, his dad, who he doesn't want to disappoint, but who knows what'll happen in the rematch.
A lot of people are sort of describing it as a fight of 3/3 or 2 halves. Tyson certainly done his better work in the first half of the fight, regardless of how people had it scored. Had a big round 6. What do you think went wrong for him in the second half of the fight? I'm seeing a lot of people say gas tank issues. A lot of people saying Usyk just sort of gets into his rhythm in that stage of the fight. What's your breakdown of it?
I would say it was a bit of Usyk staying disciplined and sticking to his game plan and staying on the front foot and biding his time. And the moment came in the ninth where he landed that big long left hook. But I do think a bit of complacency kicked in from Tyson. He was in cruise control. He was doing that showboating. He said himself he was enjoying himself. But you know, when you're in with a master like Usyk, you can't afford silly, complacent moments like that. You'll get found out. You get done. And that's exactly what happened, because it changed the whole pattern of the fight.
You mentioned round 9. It was one of the most shocking things I've seen, just to see Tyson Fury, being rocked around the ring like that. What was going through your mind when that was happening? Did you think he's going to get stopped here? Do you think he should have been stopped?
Disbelief, and if I had a word with Alex Krasiak after a press conference off air, and he said he's going to stop him in round 10. So straight away I was thinking, wow, he's almost got this bang on. Just couldn't believe it. We've seen Fury down a couple of times, never seen him that hurt. Like, in my opinion, that's the worst he's been. His legs were all over the place, and it was, wow, he's going to stop Tyson Fury. Incredible. Referee had a bit of a stinker, if I'm honest. I think he let that last 20 seconds play out to see if there's a decisive, clear moment to jump in and stop the fight, or if Tyson goes down to give him a legitimate knockdown. But it was fascinating. The right man won, so I don't look at that moment and take too much from it, because it's different if Fury wins, and there was that moment where he could have scored the knockout. But yeah, the right man won.
Just a last word on Tyson Fury. Caught up with Colin Hart after the fight, and he seemed to think that Tyson's sort of on the decline and best days behind him. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, that's a fact. Father Time waits for nobody. Is he finished? I don't think so, but he's definitely, his best days are for sure behind him. Yeah.
What adjustments do you think, if that rematch is to happen in October, Tyson needs to make?
A bit more of everything. I think he was a bit too much on the back foot. I think moving. I think he needs to mix it up, a bit more variation with his ring position, front foot, back foot. The right hand was working well to the body and head. I just think just a little bit more variation. When you've got someone in front of you like Usyk, who is a master, he knows how to deal with certain shots and movements. You've got to be different. You've got to mix it up, and we see that. So I just think a bit more variation.
Just before I let you go, Darren, it wouldn't feel right not to get a mention for Oleksandr Usyk. I mean, in your time involved in the sport as a fighter, now covering the sport as a pundit, how highly do you rank him? I mean, I'm seeing people say an all-time great, legend. What's your thoughts?
You couldn't argue against it, could you? You got to put him in that ilk, that bracket. For me, what he's managed to achieve, the people he's beaten on the road, is remarkable. He'll go down as one of the greatest of all times.
See the pound for pound number one for you at the moment?
Yeah. And Crawford too, Inoue.
Darren Barker, we'll wrap it up there. Always good to speak to you, sir. Safe travels. Cheers, mate.